Hey, welcome to the second episode of Band Chat. My name is Bonnie. I'm the lead singer for Innocence Torn, and I have a very special guest with me today. You guys are going to love him. He's one of my favorite people in the world, one of the most badass guitarists I know, Einar Einarsson from Beautiful Skeletons. Say hi, everybody. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Good. So you guys have been touring a lot. You guys have been really super busy. What are you guys up to now?
Got a bunch of stuff I can't really talk about.
Uh,
April 5th. I'm going to give you that. I'll give you
okay,
a date. April 5th.
good.
A lot of stuff's going to be, a lot of new stuff is going to be revealed. But we haven't really been, we've only played one show, only one live performance in the last probably 5-6 months.
Well, you guys have been really busy in that 5 and 6 months too, so I kind of understand that. You guys did something really major. Not even all that long ago. You guys went on tour with Yngwie Malmsteen,
Yeah.
and so I'm kind of dying to find out like how that must have taken a lot of work. That was, I mean, really, how did all of that progress? What did you have to do to be able to prepare yourself to go on tour like that?
Oh gosh, it was. So prior to, we signed we did a management deal with Paul Crosby, and we're actually still with him. Going
For Saliva,
into
by the way. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's actually no longer with Saliva.
Oh,
He's just so busy with he has another band called Cold Words, and then he also has his management company, and so the management company alone is takes up a lot of his time, and but along with that comes a lot of opportunities to do things from radio to getting on with some pretty big national acts. And anyway, we had an opportunity to tour with Yngwie Malmsteen for it was 11 days on the East Coast, and had the opportunity to caravan with his crew with 2 tour buses and go live on a tour bus for it was a total of 12 days that we stayed on the bus. Tina and Chris had just flown in, but somebody had to take all the gear, and so it was 4 days to get there.
oh my God.
Driving across country. And we don't have any label backing, so the funding was all done by the band, and just getting creative, and so a lot of planning went into it. It was about 6 months of planning, but so worth it. I mean, we played some of the most amazing venues on the East Coast, and it was like after everything was done, it was kind of like, yeah, I'd like to do that again on that level, because one night you're I think for a lot of bands, it's we play a lot of clubs, play a lot of bars, and then you jump into not necessarily arena, but I think the biggest venue we played was in Detroit. That was 4,000.
Wow.
And it was just it was Harpo's. If you get a chance to look it up on the internet, it's it's a massive venue. It's just like, okay, this is cool.
So how is that transitioning? We are both Pacific Northwest band. So how is that for you transitioning into getting out of here and getting a chance to go other places besides, I know you guys have done some traveling in the past, but that was a lot. That was a lot different.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of surreal, when you get out on the road. I mean, you guys have done your fair share of touring also. Uh, we did a different tour there last spring with Scream at the Sky, and that was playing the clubs, and it was just back to back to back, and so getting mentally prepared for that much work. And I was doing majority of the driving, and it was a lot of overnight driving. So by the time I got to the venue, and it was just like I was exhausted, and it took me a while to recover. I'm not getting any younger, so but
Either, but.
a 2-3 week tour takes, 6-7 months to plan, just financially, and just, making sure that uh, the normal life behind you is still running as it should, making sure that, somebody's taking care of the dogs, it's like, you know, uh, you're losing some income from the day job, things like that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a big deal. I've even just, over a weekend period of time or going
yeah.
like down to LA, it was an expensive trip, but basically, I mean, you really do have to be able to somehow mentally. I go through that a lot too, where I get on this big ass high from doing whatever, coming off a tour or getting off of a big stage or doing something I haven't ever done before. And then I come home and I walk in the door and I'm like, there's fucking dishes. Like
Yeah.
it's a very surreal, like you come back and you're just a normal, you can go to the grocery store, nobody cares who you are. You know what I mean? It's a different, there's such a split in that. And being able to mentally prepare yourself to go out and be, that musician that you are.
Hmm.
How do you handle that?
Yeah, I'm not even sure. Alarm goes off at 4 a.m. and get ready to go to work that Monday.
Right.
Uh, yeah, it's definitely a kind of a Jekyll and Hyde type of a mentality. When you're getting up and performing, getting on stage, and kind of getting into that mode of, yeah, I'm a musician right now, and then all of a sudden you taking that hat off, and it's like, well, I'm the safety guy for Souls Company Steel Erectors out at Intel.
Right.
Uh,
So I mean, you have to like, you still have to like provide your own like merch person and all that stuff, right? I mean, when you guys go on a big tour like that, so that's bringing along a lot of people, and you guys are on these buses. How is that? Like, how do you guys be able to be in such short quarters, small quarters, I should say, for that long a period of time, and then still, be friends when you get home?
yeah, that's a great question. So when we went out there in August of 2022 with Yngwie, it was there was only 5 of us that went. Chris Record went with us, helping with merch and whatnot, and we all, and Josh was filling in on drums. Josh Holland with Greenlight Studios, and then of course John was
He's an
our bass
amazing
player.
individual, by the way. Absolutely
Yeah,
amazing individual. Yeah,
absolutely.
he's come in to
And
save our day a few times.
the compatibility was just unreal. And just knowing what to do, everybody knew their place, and it was a lot of work. It was like, we didn't have any roadies; it was just us. We pull up to a venue, and then it was like, okay, it's 12. We don't play until probably 8:30 tonight, but we got to wait for the uh, our turn to load in and get with the stage manager and with Yngwie's tour manager, and just there's all these things that you just kind of get in the groove of, and yeah, it's just I mean, the waiting sometimes is just half the battle, and that drains you.
I was literally just talking about this in my last interview with Brent Hensley from Leader One, and I was like, in your day, just even locally, you're like, you get off work, you got to run home, take a shower, get yourself together, hope the kids are okay, feed the dog, load everything out, you're rushing, and you get there, and if you're lucky enough to be able to backline like in the building, then after that you just wait, and that waiting is,
Yep.
it can be hell sometimes. I mean, I'm like, let's go. I mean,
Yeah.
so I kind of get that. What was your favorite part of being on tour, though?
Um, I think it's that moment after the first song. It's like, what's the reaction going to be? From
Oh,
the audience.
yeah,
Are they, especially when you're out of town? And in a lot of ways, I think sometimes playing locally in front of friends and family and people that is more difficult. And there's a lot more pressure, internal
sure.
pressure when you're just like, oh my God, hey, there's my buddies, and you know, if you make a mistake, internally you're just like, oh crap, fuck,
Right.
but out of town, you can kind of just roll with the punches, and every show is going to have there's no such thing as a flawless show. Um, but I think that moment after that first song just kind of is like, okay, if you get a good response, and then most of the time bands do, um,
Well, yeah, I mean,
then
you
you're
guys got a hell of a response. You're hitting at 12,000, like 12K right now on followers, which is really super impressive. I mean, you guys came out of the gate like that, though. I mean, you came out just a blazing, and you guys haven't stopped since. I mean, it was kind of nice. Here, I thought you guys were taking all this nice downtime, and then, I've seen a few things here and there, like on TikTok and like on Facebook, and you guys are still just you're just still going. I mean, what's that like? I mean, are you able to like get all of that and still have some time downtime before your next big whatever the big secret is, which I can't wait to find out.
Yeah. I think in life right now is there's a good routine. I mean, I work pretty much 50 hours a week on average. So, I get up in the mornings just like everybody else. I go to work, I go grocery shopping, I hang out with the family a little bit, and just really keeping it simple. I'm kind of a hermit. I don't, I think last weekend was the first show that I actually um, got out of the house on a Saturday night and just, ran into some old friends and saw some friends play live here locally. And but come to find out, a lot of people there is like, hey, yeah, this is my first show, first time out since September of last year.
Yeah, I'm a hermit though too. I mean, it's not just because we have the little guy, but it really like with everything that goes on. For me personally, being home it's like my sanctuary.
Mhm.
It really, and then you're home and whatever, and then you get bored and you can't wait to get back out on stage again. There's that too.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And like when I get home, I really feel like okay, like this is my foundation for everything that I'm trying to do right now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It definitely gives you a sense of stability, and
Yep.
you can this is home is where you can scratch where it itches, right?
Right. Comfort.
Oh god, so you guys got some shows coming up here pretty soon, right?
Yeah, we got a little bit on the books. We got some just actually confirmed today, some stuff for out of state um, in July and August.
Yeah, you guys are
Um,
playing at the Whiskey a Go Go, aren't you?
yeah, that's in May. So we gonna go got a direct support slot for the Iron Maidens. I'm pretty excited about that.
They are some of the nicest gals. I've had a chance to meet them at Dante's, and
Have you?
their personalities were just absolutely amazing. Yeah, they were like, "Get in here, take a picture," and I'm like, "Okay." Yeah, they were really, really cool chicks, man. I
Right on.
really
Yeah.
talented. So
I mean, and you guys have played down there at the Whiskey. It's just, it's so iconic, and the stage and the sound is just top notch, and just being down there is fun.
yeah, if you ever get a chance to get into the big green room, you'll see Innocence Torn. I'm
Oh,
probably telling
nice.
I'm probably telling him myself here, right on the wall. Like I was like, well, everybody else has done it, I might as well too. But yeah,
Absolutely. I think the last time I was there, I played down there in a different band in 2002, and it was a short little tour. We was playing in a band here locally, and we played 3 shows down in LA, and then some up in the Bay Area. And of course, I was 20 years ago, and energy levels are a little bit different nowadays. And we rented a van, and we had just recorded a CD, and so we did a CD release party, and then just everybody loaded up in the van and went on a little road trip. It's a lot of fun.
yeah. Actually, we recently got ourselves a band too, and um, I love it, and then I hate it because I'm the only female in the van, and so conversations are really inappropriate, and
Right.
we do try to make we do try to have a little bit of fun while we're doing it. I know Tanner's brought some some stand-up comedy stuff with them, and they're a lot of fun. They're also very strange, and you learn a lot about people when you're stuck in a bus with these guys. So I don't know if you have the same experience, but I've learned a lot.
Yeah, I do. Having done, both van and, the tour bus experience, obviously tour bus is the way to go because you do have that privacy. You can just go into your bunk and there's a back room. Um, when you start, comparing cost of renting a hotel room,
Oh
even
God.
if it's for, 4 or 5 dates, whatever. Sometimes just, and you take into consideration just the security. If let's say you're on the East Coast or somewhere out of town, having, a bus driver ready to be rolling out at 2 a.m., you're able to lock your seat, everybody's together. There's a lot of advantages. And in my opinion, that's kind of that. If you can afford it, that's the way to go. And there's a lot of different bus companies out there that, the prices fluctuate.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, just being in a band's expensive, but then the
Oh yeah.
travel, the cost and travel, you know, I, I think a bus would be a really great way to go. But I mean, if you're just starting out and you really, I don't think people like estimate in their mind, like if you are actually going to go, say, to Los Angeles, you better be prepared like we were. We actually loaded all of our gear into the hotel room with us.
Yep.
Even though we were in a
Smart
nice
thing to
part of
do.
Hollywood and, real close to, the nice side of town, uh,
Yeah.
that you have to constantly watch your stuff. We've actually had our drummer Scott sleep in the van before, just because you don't have that advantage of security, and
Yep.
people don't care, especially if they find out that you are in a band. And maybe I just overestimate because we've had a lot of bands come through Portland and have their stuff stolen while they're here. It's really tragic. Losing everything at one time and not being able to, recoup that. And yeah, there's insurance and that kind of thing, but it's not like you get all your stuff back the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a
And
lot
plus,
more to it.
sentiment with gear. I mean, I think most musicians get attached to some of their gear, and it's like, oh crap, it's like my grandfather gave me this Les Paul. It's like now it's gone, up in somebody's pawn shop,
Yeah,
and
that's a very real thing. I mean, it's scary, really, but it is something that you have to take into consideration, when you decide to travel. So I guess that
yeah.
would be, my next question is, if you, what advice would you give to another band that's thinking about doing some traveling, or that might be doing their first tour here pretty soon? For me, I think the first one is just go look at pictures of your venue so that you know what stage you're walking into.
Yeah.
What would you
I,
say?
I think have a backup plan for everything. Backup plan for if your rig breaks down. That's why it's always good to rent vehicles. Rent a van. It breaks down in Sacramento. I was like, well, where's the nearest Enterprise? Because I need another van.
Right.
Otherwise, having the resources, the funding for if you do have major mechanical issues, and yeah, just planning for everything, having, the worst case scenarios, you know, somebody steals all your merch, and just the necessities, food, hotel rooms, just budgeting everything out. It's like, whether, and like I ended up buying a trailer and we used it quite a bit, but it's a little bit longer than what I had. It was such a good deal. I couldn't pass it up. It sleeps, it sleeps probably 4, 6, if it's with all the gear, it has bathroom, has kitchen,
Oh,
heating,
that's
all that
nice.
stuff.
That's really nice. Having a bathroom,
Yeah.
having a bathroom.
There's no
Yeah,
door.
yeah. There is something to be said about not having to bring a bucket in the back back of the
Yeah.
bus or the van. So yeah, some things are more important than others for sure,
Yeah.
for
And
sure.
then that's what we used on our last tour with Scream at the Sky is, just towing the trailer. And, I think I put on like almost 10,000 miles in those 2 weeks. We drove down to Texas, me and Josh, and then everybody else flew in, picked them up. Actually, we didn't. We met them at the hotel because they got a shuttle, and then we drove. I think we played our first show in San Antonio at Fitzgerald's. That was a really cool show. But then it was like, I want to say it was almost 600 miles to the next venue. So I drove through the night.
Wow.
And like first half of the tour, we had somebody, Abe, Tina's husband, he flew in also, and him and I shared the driving for the first probably, I think, 4 shows. And as soon as we got back into Portland, because we had a Portland, Seattle, and then Eugene, and then into Idaho, and so he stayed behind because he had to work, and so it was nice, having somebody split the driving with you. That is, part of me was just kind of pissed because I was like, well, fuck, I'm the only one doing all the driving.
That is so James too. James is that way, but then again, like, we've had other people drive and we're like, no.
Right.
Especially when, like, I've tried to drive, I've tried to help, but there was a point where we came back from Hollywood down in Los Angeles, and we're heading back, and I'm thinking it's like the road or my driving or something, but I had to like lock my arm in place to keep the steering wheel because there was so much wind. And
wow.
James comes up and says, "Oh, no one's ever died from too much wind on the road. Just keep your arm." And then eventually he watched like the van went, just. I'm like, oh, hell no, right? We pull over to the next gas station. I'm not even joking you that I was shaking. I was so scared because it was everything I had to keep the van on the road. And he gets back in the car, and not even 10 minutes later.
What the fuck?
Oh my God.
That ain't good. Yep, somebody went over the edge. Shit. They fucking went over the edge and the car's on fire. Holy fuck. Dude. God damn. Dude, they fucking went off the edge. Holy fuck.
Holy jeez.
Dude, yeah, they're dead.
Oh
my God.
Jesus.
The wind had knocked somebody off of the cliff that we were on, and the whole side of the cliff was on fire. Somebody apparently died from the wind, and I was like, "You were fucking saying." So yeah. I haven't really volunteered to drive since.
It does happen when you're logging that many miles. It's just a numbers game. And the more precaution and planning you can put into something like that by having multiple drivers and maybe only driving during the day, but sometimes you have no choice. You got to get there. Yeah,
you got to get home. Yeah, you got to get there. So, a few more questions. What was your favorite? What was your favorite part, or something that happened on the road that was super funny and that you can share with us?
Super funny.
Or just something, what was your favorite part of the tour?
You talking about like the Yngwie tour or
or just touring period?
Touring period. I think one of the highlights, we played Silverados in North Carolina. That's an outdoor festival, and just got a really good response from the audience. And it was like the first time I had played that far out of town in quite a while, because I took a long break from music and didn't do anything serious for a long time. So kind of getting back in that high, that this massive high. And I remember, Yngwie, who was on the Yngwie tour, and he, when I was a kid, he was one of my idols. He's
like God. I know when I was growing up.
The tour with him was just like, okay, let's do this, and there wasn't a whole lot of interaction with him, but there was times where he'd be side stage and he'd be watching us play, and he give Tina the old thumbs up, and he really liked her, and
I'd be shitting my pants personally, but that's just
Yeah.
me. For real.
And we made, I mean, just a lot of friends, and our fan base really took off with those 2 tours that we did within. It was about a year and a half when we did the 2.
Yeah, you
And
guys just blew up. Like I said, you guys are like 12,000 followers right now, which is super impressive, especially considering it's organic. And
yeah,
you
it's
guys are really just doing it, you know?
getting out there, and it's like, we got in front of so many people on that run. I mean, it's like each show was probably 1,000 to 1,500. Some were bigger, some were 700-800, but it was like every night was just like, whoa, I can
That
get
would be
used to
amazing. Yeah, that would be absolutely. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons to this whole touring thing, and one of which is definitely getting yourself. That's why we're really excited about a lot of our stuff that we're doing this year, is that we're just getting out of here and going to meet new people, and that's really exciting for me, because it also gives me a perspective as to how well I'm doing.
Yeah, and a lot of bands say that, just getting out of your own local area sometimes is there's always going to be a benefit there. You get to see the country, you make new friends, you meet a lot of new people, and you get into some really tricky situations sometimes. That's kind of where the planning really comes into play. Just making sure it's like, okay, what if this happens? What am I going to do?
Right. I agree with that. I absolutely agree. Man, see, that's one of the reasons I thought this would be, you would be perfect for this topic, is because you've actually gone out and done these things. You've actually been there. Are you got plans on doing it again? Maybe not with
Oh,
Yngwie,
yeah.
but going out and touring again?
Yeah. Usually this time of year, our management company is busy, and then the offers start coming in, and you just gotta, a lot of them come in, and you're like, this would be perfect, and then it's like, everybody's schedule has to align, and so sometimes one person might be more excited about a certain opportunity than others, and a lot of things get filtered in through Paul, and so that's always exciting. And it's like, I remember there a couple of years ago, you guys had an opportunity to, support OTEP, down at the Whiskey. And that was just like, okay, OTEP, that's fucking kick ass, man.
That was rather exciting. And I think not a lot of people, I don't know. I got a chance to meet her. She treated us like gold. I was shocked. You hear a lot of things about people, and then you actually meet them, and you're like, oh, okay,
Yep,
well, whatever.
They're just people, Paul, I was a huge Saliva fan. I still am. And, after Josie Scott left Saliva, they carried on with Bobby. And, I think they came out with, not even sure how many albums after Josie left, but it's like, fuck, Paul Crosby, fucking, Grammy nominated, fucking.
I was really shocked when I first heard that. I was like, damn, you guys are like moving up in the world.
Yeah, and that was a lot of just research and a lot of networking to get him to even respond. It took a little while, but I was trying to get distribution, and in a long story, it was this huge circle that I made, and the timing was just perfect, because we had done a demo with Josh, and I sent it to him, and he liked it, and then we just conversation started happening, and there's a few other there's one other local artist that's currently on Paul's roster. And I had the opportunity to actually fill in with that band on guitar for a show last summer. That was kind of cool.
That is super cool.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of bands in this area that are pretty close knit, and everybody supports one another regardless of whatever's going on.
You come to Bandsgiving, so yeah, I get it. I kind of explained what Bandsgiving was in the last episode, but it's
oh yeah.
We spend Thanksgiving with our relatives, and then we spend our Thanksgiving with our band family, and I'm so damn proud to have you in that circle of friends. So before we go, why don't you tell everybody how they can find you if they don't already know who you guys are, which would just be shocking. But where can they find your music? What's your socials? All that stuff.
Shit. Beautifulskeletons.com. That's our main hub. Of course, Facebook. Just search Beautiful Skeletons on that. I mean, we're on everything. Spotify, you name it, YouTube. Hit our YouTube channel.
Yeah, go like and subscribe. Speaking of like and subscribe, ding, ding, ding. Y'all know how to push that button. Get me? Yeah, subscribe, the notifications. Well, Einar, listen, I love you to death, and I am so proud of what you guys have accomplished over this last couple of years. It's really damn impressive. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys are up to, because you're kind of setting the precedence as to, you know, how maybe the rest of us should be doing it. So
it's when you're passionate about something and you believe in what you're doing, it just, you know, it's like a drug, you know, it just 24/7, and it's kind of annoying sometimes, but you know, it's hard work. It's the grind. Paul calls it the grind. You know, you kind of hit that grind level, and then you just grind for a while.
Well, we absolutely love it. And thank you so much for spending your time with me tonight. And so again, guys, go check out Beautiful Skeletons on everything you can get, and go like and subscribe them on YouTube. We'll have to see you next time, Einar, but you take care, and we'll see you at your next show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Woo, boy howdy, we hope you guys had as much fun as we did tonight. Come on back next Saturday while we sit down with the one, the only, Lane Steele from Worldwide Pen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. Let's go!